my god. They got the silver ice king. I like how we both stopped using bullseye.
Once you have it looking the way that you want to go into your youtube.com/live_dashboard. Inside of your Creator Studio. Once you are there, you want to scroll all the way down, and you're going to see an area that says Encoder Setup. You'll want to copy the stream name /key. So to do that, you want to click the Reveal option, and then you highlight it, copy it, and then go ahead and click Hide. Now make sure that you keep this key to yourself, because if someone else has this key, that gives them the ability to stream on your account, and nobody wants that. Once you have your key, you go back into OBS, you go over to the right, you will see a settings option, you click on that, you'll go under the streams tab, and you want to make sure that you have streaming services selected. From the drop down here, you want to make sure that you have YouTube, and then you want to make sure that you have primary YouTube ingest server selected. From there, you are just going to paste your key into the stream key box. Once you have that set up, you want to hit apply, and then hit OK. Next, we are going to assume that you already have your webcam hooked up to your computer. If you do not, go ahead and plug in your webcam, and then you want to go under the sources menu here. So it says sources, you want to go down and you want to click the little plus icon. When you do that, it's going to give you a bunch of different options, which I will go into in later tutorials, but in this one, you want to add video capture device. Give it any name that you want to. And then it's going to basically put on the screen the camera that you are pulling from. So if you get this square box, like I see right here, then what you want to do is you want to click on the resolution tab, go to custom.
Why is it not working?
And then you want to select the resolution that you want to push your video through at. Then you hit OK. And from there, there's one more step, but I'm going to give you a side tip as well. When you test everything to make sure that you have it up and running, one problem that a lot of people get when they are going live is they get an audio sync problem that happens. In order to fix that, all you have to do is you have to go into your mixer option
So
here,
you're
and
streaming
you
the
will see
stream?
that you have an option for whichever audio device it is that you're using. So what you want to do in that situation is you just want to adjust the milliseconds on the audio to compensate for that lag. For me, usually between 200 and 500 usually does the trick. Once you have everything set up inside, start live streaming, and we're starting right now. What is going on? My name is Nick. Welcome to another video. If this is your first time here and you want to learn how to grow your channel and make videos and all types of other YouTube related stuff, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification icon so you don't miss anything. I'm curious to know why you are wanting to live stream. Are you wanting to connect with your audience? Are you wanting to increase the watch time on your channel? Are you wanting to, try to use those live streams to rank videos? Are you wanting to use it to just make videos quicker? What reason is it that you are wanting to live stream? Let me know down in the comments. Okay, so let's head over to the computer and I'm going to show you how to live stream on YouTube using OBS. The very first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you have OBS Studio installed. It is available for Windows, Mac, or Linux, and it is absolutely free. Once you have OBS Studio installed into your computer, then if you do not to your youtube.com/live_dashboard inside of your Creator Studio. Once you are there, you want to scroll all the way down, and you're going to see an area that says Encoder Setup. You'll want to copy the stream name /key. So to do that, you want to click the Reveal option, and then you highlight it, copy it, and you go ahead and click Hide. Now make sure that you keep this key to yourself, because if someone else has this key, that gives them the ability to stream on your account, and nobody wants that. Once you have your key, you go back into OBS, you go over to the right, you will see a settings option, you click on that. You'll go under the Streams tab, and you want to make sure that you have streaming services selected. From the drop down here, you want to make sure that you have YouTube, and then you want to make sure that you have primary. And you want to make sure that you have streaming services selected. From the drop down here, you want to make sure that you have YouTube, and then you want to make sure that you have primary. And you want to make sure that you have streaming services selected. From the drop down here, you want to make sure that you have YouTube, and then you want to make sure that you have primary. And you want to make sure that you have streaming services selected.
One, two, 3, 4, 5, 6. Test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Test. 1.
A data center is the brains of the internet.
The engine of the internet.
It is a giant building with a lot of power, a lot of cooling, and a lot of computers.
It's row upon row upon row of machines, all working together to provide the services that make Google function.
I love building and operating data centers. I'm Joe Cava, Vice President of Data Centers at Google. I'm responsible for managing the teams globally that design, build, and operate Google's data centers. We're also responsible for the environmental health and safety, sustainability, and carbon offsets for our data centers. This data center here in South Carolina is one node in a larger network of data centers all over the world. Of all the employees at Google, a very, very small percentage of those employees are authorized to even enter a data center campus. The men and women that run these data centers and keep them up 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, they are incredibly passionate about what they're doing.
And
layman's terms, what do I do?
I typically refer to myself as the herder of cats.
I'm an engineer, hardware site operator.
We keep the lights on, and we enjoy doing it.
And they work very hard. So we like to provide them a fun environment where they can also play hard as well.
We just went past the 3 million man-hour mark for zero lost time incidents. 3 million man-hours is a really long time, and with the number of people that we have on site, that is an amazing accomplishment.
I think the Google data centers really can offer a level of security that almost no other company can match. We have a information security team that is truly second to none. You have the expression, they wrote the book on that. Well, there are many of our information security team members that have really written the books on best practices in information security. Protecting the security and the privacy of our users' information is our foremost design criteria. We use various layers of higher level security the closer into the center of the campus you get. So just to enter this campus, my badge had to be on a pre-authorized access list. Then to come into the building, that was another level of security. To get into the secure corridor, which leads to the data center, that's a higher level of security. And the data center and the networking rooms are the highest level of security. And the technologies we use are different. Like for instance, in our highest level areas, we even use underfloor intrusion detection via laser beams. So I'm going to demonstrate going into the secure corridor now. One, I have to be on the authorized list with my badge. And then two, I use a biometric iris scanner to verify that it truly is me. Okay, here we are on the data center floor. The first thing that I notice is that it's a little warm in here. It's about 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Google runs our data centers warmer than most because it helps with the efficiency. You'll notice that we have overhead power distribution. Coming from the outside yard, we bring in the high voltage power distributed across the bus bars to all of the customized bus taps that are basically plugs where we plug in all the extension cords. All of our racks don't really look like a traditional server rack. These are custom designed and built for Google so that we can optimize the servers for hyper efficiency and high performance computing. It's true that sometimes drives fail and we have to replace them to upgrade them because maybe they're just no longer efficient to run. We have a very thorough end-to-end chain of custody process for managing those drives from the time that they're checked out from the server till they're brought to an ultra-secure cage where they're erased and crushed if necessary. So any drive that can't be verified as 100% clean, we crush it first, and then we take it to an industrial wood chipper where it's shredded into these little pieces like this. In the time that I've been at Google for almost 6.5 years now, we have changed our cooling technology at least 5 times. Most data centers have air conditioning units along the perimeter walls that force cold air under the floor that then raises up in front of the servers and cools the servers. In our solution, we take the server racks and we butt it right up against our air conditioning unit. We just use cool water flowing through those copper coils that you see there. So the hot air from the servers is contained in that hot aisle. It raises up, passes across those coils, where the heat from the air transfers to the water in those coils, and then that warm water is then brought outside the data center to our cooling plant, where it is cooled down through our cooling towers and returned back to the data center, and that process just repeats over and over again. To me, the thing that amazes me about Google in the data centers is the pace of innovation and always challenging the way we're doing things. So when people say that innovation in a certain area is done, that we've kind of reached the pinnacle of what can be achieved, I just laugh.
Oh my gosh, I'm so dumb. I suck.
Google builds and maintains one of the world's foremost networks of data centers. Their design and engineering approaches have created a large and highly scalable data center network. Over the next few minutes, we're going to get an exclusive inside look at how Google works to secure and protect the data that is stored in their data centers. The security and protections that are shown in this video are in place at the time this video was made. Google is always innovating new ways to secure and protect its customers' data. Our tour will focus on three main areas. 1. The physical security of the data center. 2. Protection of the data in the data center. And 3. Reliability of operations in the data center. Inside of a Google data center, there are thousands upon thousands of machines carrying out the business of Google and its customers, whether it's a search on Google.com or an e-commerce transaction through Google Checkout, or working with business data in Google Apps. They're all served through these machines. The machines are custom built by Google to their own specifications. Google builds thousands of servers every year, but all of them are built exclusively to run in these data centers. They're not sold or distributed externally. The machines run a specialized, stripped-down version of the Linux operating system, again to Google's own specification. Only the necessary operating system services and hardware are installed. This helps provide a computing environment that is much less prone to vulnerability, and it also reduces the need for Google Apps customers to deploy their own patches.
Might as well invite Shy now.
Access to Google data centers is tightly controlled. It's in Google's policy not to allow public tours or site visits, and even Google employee access is restricted. Cars and trucks cannot gain access to the facility grounds until they've been verified and allowed to enter the facility. All vehicle access to the data center is controlled by a restricted barrier. Security fencing around the perimeter helps ensure that all authorized access occurs through this checkpoint. Security personnel are on duty 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and can monitor vehicle access through this guard station. Google data centers are watched by a comprehensive set of video monitoring cameras, and we can see several of them as we drive into the facility. Once granted access to the facility, authorized personnel must check in at a reception area, such as the one shown here. Access throughout the facility is controlled by badges that use a special lenticular printing mechanism that makes it especially difficult to copy or forge. Access logs are automatically scanned to make sure that anyone who entered an area also left it. Some of Google's data centers utilize biometric devices, such as iris cameras, to verify identity. And security personnel also check a roster of authorized people permitted access. Although we are inside the facility, we're still not yet on the data center floor. This part of the facility is basically a traditional Google office. The business required to run the data center is mostly conducted here. Access to the actual data center floor is restricted by badges and, in some data centers, biometric methods. In this example, an iris camera is being used. One of the most important elements of the machines that Google builds are the hard drives, especially for Google Apps customers, as this is where we store their business data. Google takes great measures to protect its customers' data, and the security and protection of that data is paramount. Google's customer data is stored in multiple locations to help ensure reliability. The files that store the data are given random file names, and are not stored in clear text, so they're not humanly readable. For each hard drive that is received in one of our data centers, Google rigorously tracks its location and status. When a hard drive fails or begins to exhibit performance problems, it's brought to this area, where it's reformatted and retested. If the hard drive does not pass these tests, it's removed from the rotation. The data on the hard drive is then overwritten to help ensure that no customer data remains on it. The data override is then verified with a complete disk read. This process helps ensure that there's no trace of customer data remaining on the hard drive. For hard drives that have reached the end of their life, Google has a destruction process that is designed to further ensure that none of the data on that drive can ever be accessed. The drives are destroyed in a multi-step process. One device that is used to destroy old hard drives is known as the crusher, and is shown here. A steel piston is pushed through the center of the drive, and the platters are deformed, making them unreadable. Another step in the process is the drive shredder, shown here. As you can see, no one will be likely to get any of Google's customers' data from these drives. After the crushing process, the remains are sent to recycling centers. Google maintains an extra backup of the data in the data center that is stored on these tapes, shown here. This provides a level of redundancy to help safeguard its customers' data. Google data centers are protected by robust fire detection and suppression capabilities. This panel shows the current state of fire detection in the data center. Everything is clear now. In the event of a fire or any other disruption, data access for Google's customers is designed to automatically and seamlessly shift to another data center so that they can keep working and their business can continue uninterrupted. The Google data center is constantly monitored by personnel using sophisticated video equipment. This monitoring station allows the security team to view video feeds from many areas in the data center. In addition to the manual monitoring of the video feeds, Google utilizes video analytics that are designed to automatically detect anomalies in the video and alert security staff to investigate further. Some Google data centers are also equipped with sophisticated thermal imaging cameras that can identify potential intruders at the perimeter or within the grounds of the facility using heat signatures. This allows the security staff to effectively monitor the perimeter and grounds during the day and night, as well as in difficult visibility conditions. If the security team spots something out of the ordinary on the video surveillance, they are trained to immediately respond and investigate. Mobility and rapid response in the data center are enabled by the use of carts, jeeps, and scooters. Google maintains relationships with local law enforcement, and should the need arise, they can be called on site. Google data centers are equipped with emergency backup generators that are capable of powering the data center operation in the event of a power failure. Google data centers are connected to the internet via high-speed fiber optic cable. In each data center, there are multiple redundant connections to protect against the possibility of a failure from a single connection. In addition to operating data centers designed for security and data protection, Google data centers are designed for sustainability and energy efficiency. This is central to Google's commitment to being a carbon-neutral company. In 2009, Google announced that its data centers currently met energy efficiency levels that the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency projected only the most state-of-the-art data centers would possibly meet by the year 2011. It's been many years since Google built its first data center, and along the way, they've evolved into sophisticated data center designers. As you've seen in this video, Google works to secure and protect its customers' data with numerous safeguards. Some of the ones we've highlighted in this video include physical barriers and perimeter fencing, 24/7 security presence, access control with badging and biometric identification, local law enforcement response, video monitoring and video analytics, data protection, file fragmentation, replication, and storage, hard drive lifecycle management, and fire detection and suppression. Furthermore, Google also employs additional safeguards to protect its users' data that we do not disclose publicly. These capabilities demonstrate that Google is building and maintaining a data center network that is designed for security. Google's customers benefit from these technologies and processes, and they help ensure their data is kept secure and protected.
Coming up on How Do They Do It? The $100 billion website. How does Facebook store the profiles of more than 1 in 7 people on Earth? Facebook is nothing short of a phenomenon. The world's largest social networking site, it was valued at over $100 billion and boasts over 1 billion users. But handling the profiles, photos, and messages of more than 1 in 7 people on the planet calls for technology on a simply staggering scale. So, how do they do it? Northern California, home of Facebook. Invented by Harvard students in 2004, this social networking site lets your friends know what you're doing at the click of a mouse. 8 years after this company's birth, it floated on the stock market with a value of an incredible $104 billion. You can tell it was set up by students, because in here they do things a bit differently. Graffiti and touchscreen technology vie for wall space. Vending machines serve up boxes of tech instead of cans of soda. And open bars and video games entertain a staff with an average age of just 26. But this quirky environment seems to work. Their website has clicked with the world and has been growing at a rate of 100 million new users every 6 months. Handling the personal details of that many people is a massive challenge.
We have 1 engineer here for every 1 million users on the site. We operate at just an unprecedented scale.
When you've got more users than there are cars in the world, one of the biggest problems. The storage in your laptop could fit in your hand.
compile all that information, and then send it back to you right across the open internet again. And all of that happens in milliseconds.
If you've ever wanted to visualize the internet, then these never-ending rows of servers are a fine illustration.
Some people consider the internet a cloud as if it's floating around in the sky, but it's not. It's a real physical thing. The internet is a physical building just like this, interconnected through miles and miles of fiber and cable all throughout the world, and all of these buildings can talk to each other and share data back and forth.
This place makes a supercomputer look like a pocket calculator. They've got 30 megawatts of electricity on tap, so they should never run out of power. But just like when you forget to back up work on your PC, a power failure could be disastrous. So just in case, huge diesel generators stand by as a backup, because a world without social networks would be unimaginable to millions of teenagers.
In the event we lose main power to the building, these generators kick in right away, so we've got to keep a real close eye on these guys. They generate up to 3 megawatts worth of power each, and we've got 14 of them on this site.
All this technology generates an incredible amount of heat. Without constant cooling, these servers would quickly burn out. Your computer is cooled by a heatsink not much bigger than a matchbox. The Facebook computers have this. This massive 7-room rooftop is a state-of-the-art natural air conditioning system. Cool air from the high plains of Oregon is sucked in, filtered, and mixed with warm air to regulate the temperature. A fine mist controls the humidity, and the chilled air then sinks to the back of the servers, stopping them from overheating. Finally, any excess warm air is pushed out by monster fans hundreds of times bigger than the ones you'll find in your laptop. More fans will soon be needed because social networking is heating up. Almost 600 million online addicts log in every day. That's almost twice the population of the United States, and the site is still growing. To keep up, thousands of new servers arrive here daily. Tom Furlong is in charge of the data centers.
When I started 4.5 years ago, we had 27 million users, a few thousand servers. These days, we receive thousands of servers on a given day, and I barely note the event.
These trucks aren't delivering food. They're bringing in more and more computer memory. Most of us are familiar with gigabytes or even terabytes. Here, they have petabytes.
We have over 100 petabytes of photos and videos that are growing every single day, and that is a fantastic amount of information.
That's 100,000 times as much data as the hard drive of a high-end PC coming in every day. Every server rack contains 500 terabytes. That's over 130 billion times more memory than the first Apple personal computer. And when a single server goes wrong, the job of finding a flickering needle in this digital haystack falls to technicians like David Gaylord. One hard drive has failed, and he's sent off to find rack B25 in a labyrinth of humming servers. Once he's tracked it down, David can replace an entire circuit board in the time it takes to update your status. But David and the rest of the technicians have got their work cut out for them. Nearly 2.5 billion people have internet access worldwide, each spending 20% of their online time social networking and uploading hundreds of millions of photos, messages, and updates every day. With all that activity, even this gigantic data center is running out of space. So construction crews are
It's
already
40
working
hours,
hard to
so
increase
10 hours
capacity.
Yeah,
But
don't
with
you have
online
to charge
activity
it
on
first?
this scale,
What
they
did it
better
say?
get a
It's
move
getting
on.
charged already. Which one is that?
Every day I'm communicating to excite, educate, and equip